Oh, what's up? I just want to come on here and talk about when I first moved out here. Um, I was 20, just turned 25. I just turned 25, and I was more inspired than ever at that time. Like significant events that were happening when I moved here was Kobe Bryant had just passed away literally on my birthday. Kobe had passed away. I was actually going up 95. Ironically, I was literally on the same highway that I was on. I was on 95 and I was born in 95. And Kobe had passed on my birthday. It was a Sunday. And ironically, when Nip passed, it was on a Sunday in March. And I was still going up 95. Man, there's a deep significance there that, like, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Like, however, this is the time period that I came here. My child's mother, she um decided to come here to be with her mom, who had lived here over 20, at the time over 15 years. So I came here. I wasn't like at the beginning of my child's mother's pregnancy when she was pregnant with my son. Um, you know, this is hard to talk about because like it's just a lot going on right now. But well, I came here and I had to be realist when I say this. Initially, it was against my will. I didn't want to up and leave where I was at, and I wasn't ready yet. I'm gonna put it like that. I wasn't. That's more accurate. I wasn't ready. Um, as a 25-year-old father who was still really getting himself together, I wasn't ready to make that leap of faith to go from putting myself in a position to be where I'm at now. Um, I was developing into that person, but I was like a preemie myself. And then on top of that, with me doesn't come a big support system um, in the areas that I needed in, right? Like early childhood development with my children. Nurse, what do they call them? The ladies, they wear it's like the CNAs wear, they got their, uh, their formal wear. It's the same thing with the women who watch the babies. It's the same thing. So that's missing out of my life, and that's really been hard for me. And then even like with my mom, like the my mom would have watched the babies while I was at work. Like that's like I'm doing both of those. Like ever since my children was born, that's been my role, is to be my children's caretaker. And I am not perfect. I'm not a perfect father, but I'm figuring this out on my own. I'm figuring it out on my own. And I think about Jig, who's literally he younger than me. Jig a little bit younger than me. But we grew up together, and I think about Billy. These are the brothers that I grew up with who became fathers. lost their lives to gun violence. Billy lost his life trying to protect somebody else, to simmer in an altercation. And then the energy switched towards him, and then he lost his life, and he had two babies. Literally, like, Billy lived in the building, like, outside of where I was living at the time. I could see literally where his building was at, and I would see him being a dad, like, and it's kind of like I don't unsee it. So it's kind of like that. And this is when I was becoming a father. You know what I mean? Meaning that, my empress is what I call her, is because the only way a nation exists is from the womb of a woman. So you can't have, an empire is made up of nations. You understand? So that empire is coming from the same source, one source. It's like we gonna honor our mother. That's it. And like, I do that with the best of my ability. And I was having a conversation today about how, like, with blended families, the discrepancies come from the loyalty to the mother. But now what I'm discovering is that it's also a loyalty to the father too, because it's deeper than the father. The father got a matriarch, right? So it's really to the father's matriarch. Like what the father is subconsciously loyal and dedicated to, and dedicated to, is what they great grandmother had to endure. So like, or they grandmother, which is our great grandmother. Again, and go back to their mama, because we're not getting here without one. So my great grandmother, she lost her father. Not her father, her consort. So fathers, you become consorts. You gotta realize that. And women, y'all become consulates. We have to start there. When we say co-parent. That co-parent means that it's two, but it can't be two, because the child is one. You can't break a child in half and say half of the kid is gonna go to you and the other half is gonna go to the father. Like, you can't do that. It doesn't work. So therefore, that's one vessel. All right. So parents just start looking at unity there. That's where it really start. And the trust factor is, you got to trust that baby yours, because it may not be. But how you gonna act if it's not? That's just the reality. And that's me talking to the fathers. That's just, every father has to accept that fact. Every father got to accept that fact. Because we could be saying it's ego to say that that's our seed. That's just really the reality. And I know I'm going on a tangent, but this is what I've learned as a father. This is what I learned. So, with my empress, that I established this nationhood with. Fatherhood is nationhood. I had to really learn what I'm really learning now in my fatherhood, is letting go of control. Because, you being up and being disciplined and having order in your home and, a system approach, like, that's my ego. You know what I mean? For my kids to grow up and say, like, we got routine from our dad. Like, that's my ego. You feel what I'm saying? And it took me a long time to understand that, because I'm like, children need their dad, and then it's like, well, if the dads aren't present, then that's an issue too. So therefore, you gotta know the balance in there. It's a balance. It's a firm balance in that. Like, because without Joe Jackson, there wouldn't be Michael. There wouldn't be a Michael, because that's literally how he kept his kids out the hood. I really, like, as a father whose children is growing up in the hood, I feel like you gotta know the history. It's not about how you feel. You gotta know the history about how we went from the big house to the hood. This been happening for a long time with our people. And for my mama, for her history, she was getting up out of the hood. So for me to have to go back, it's like I'm going back to 1980. I gotta go all the way back to 1980. From 2019 all the way back to 1980, my mama was homeless. My mama was homeless all the way to like really, my mama was homeless all the way until she got to the house where I grew up. And for me, it was like a bohemian castle. It was like a bohemian, it was in the Moravian forest. So it was like a bohemian castle, where I grew up. It was like a bohemian. And that's where, so right now, so when you read my literature, it got that bourbon sauce. It got that bourbon sauce. How is it that I grew up on Sally's Lane and my great-great-grandmother, my 3-time great-grandmother name was Sally on both sides of on my matriarchal side and on my dad's matriarchal side. My dad, great-grandmother name was Sally. Her name was Sally Critz. Her name was Sally Critz. And on my mama's side, my great-great-grandparents, William and Lucy, just celebrated their 108-year anniversary of their union. And they died they didn't die, but they transitioned in the same year, 1963. And my great-grandmother, my Lucy, her mother was named Sally Breckenridge. And they both spelled it the same way. That's the street that I grew up on. And when I grew up on that street, I didn't have nothing to directly, the decisions perhaps my mama looked at it, and today I seen Sally's Alley. I forgot where I seen it at though. I seen Sally's Alley. And I was on Carolinian Drive, man. For me to be on again, it's the same thing. It's like there is what we calling God is more definitive than just the word God. How is it that we gonna give what we're saying is bestowing abundance or prosperity or whatever. Even not just that, but storms and earthquakes and natural disasters, all of the unseen seen, right? The manifestation. Where does manifestation come from? Is it just coming out of thin air? No, it's something there. It's more definitive. Like for me to grow up on a lane that's named after, and even if it's not named after, subconsciously for me it's named after them. So like coming across these creeks that bears my mama name, moving here all this time and discovering that I came here 6 years ago. I just told you during the time that Kobe died. You feel what I'm saying? And then 6 years later, after living in 4 different states, coming back here and then settling in an area that has a creek with my mama name. I wouldn't have my name if it wasn't for my mama. It's just like Stephon Diggs' mama named Stephanie. So it's bigger than the whole concept of like the hood. It's way different. It's like you gotta look at it. It's deeper than the streets. It's deeper than the streets. And like to be in a land where our people have been sold as commodities, whether they from Africa, whether they from Virginia, whether they from, right here, the soil beneath their feet. You feel me? What was done to humanity and is quite frankly still being done to humanity. The genocide of a people who, again, like the fathers, they always talk about women and children, but they leave the father out. It's like, we on that front line, and when we go, it leaves like a multitude, like the mothers. Like my mama not gonna have, she had never suffered the pain of losing me. But there's mothers out here who have to endure that for the rest of their life. In the same sense, like my mama went. So yeah, women and children. My mama went when I was 14. When I was 14 years old, I lost my mama. So I gotta live with that for the rest of my life. I already got 17 years in on that bit. We going on 18. 18 years without a mama. 18 years. So like niggas in the penitentiary go 18. They do time without their mama. You feel me? Whether they mama living or not, they still gotta go there without their mama. And so like me, when I was in jail, I couldn't call my mama. I couldn't call her. And I didn't realize that until I got there. And I seen everybody else calling everybody in the jail with me. Both of the times that I went, they all called their mama. And I couldn't do that. And I didn't know that was like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. So it's like, ain't nothing replacing that. And it was funny, I was listening to Rod Hayes. It's like, Rod Hayes, like one of my uncle, like Rod Hayes, like one of them cousins that be like for example, like I got my grandfather, again, this is my biological grandfather, Henry. And if you follow me on Facebook, that's who my my profile pic is of, my grandfather, Henry. He died 2 months before my mama. Really like 3 months before my mama. And I ain't know him. I met him twice. The second time he met me, or I met him, he was blind. So he don't, and I was like 7, I was probably like 11 or 12. So I didn't know who I was becoming to be. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I was about to like all this stuff, all these accolades, like, and I'm like, I don't even know I'm doing it now. For real. But anyway, the point I'm making is like Rod is like one of them cousins when you go to the family function and like, oh yeah, I grew up with Henry. You feel what I'm saying? I grew up with your grandfather. You feel me? And I got cousins like that that's out there. So like that's how I see Rod for me. And it's like that 65 Beltway, Louisville. It connect Louisville to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So and Gary. So again, Michael, like that's the same. Like everybody on that. Our tribe is along that highway, all the way from Alabama all the way up to Chicago. That's them Choctaw. That's why Michael Jackson Choctaw. It's because of the 65 Beltway. Before it was the 65 Beltway, it was the Great Indian Migrational Path. So we had the technology, we been had that technology, and it's always been like, for me, my sense of self and knowing who I am, like my soul is the backdrop of Oz with Diana Ross, which was supposed to be Stephanie Mills, which is cool. We all right with that. Stephanie Mills, she had to play. She was in the play, and like, so Oz, Diana Ross, and Oz is my soul, like the backdrop, not Diana Ross, which again, that's that same Beltway. That's Detroit. So that's Cincinnati. I mean, that's 75. So, which is still Cincinnati. You feel what I'm saying? That's the Cincinnati Blues to get to Detroit. Pistons. You know what I mean? Off of the 75, you know. And so that's my daughter born off of that highway. My daughter born off of that highway, 75. So I just told you about 95. We just went to 95 to 65, 75. These are our tribes along the highway. And my son is the I-26, and that's the day that I arrived. My son was born on the 26th day of his month off of the 26 highway. So it's deep. And this is the route that I took to get here. So everything got to do with the highway. Everything is the highway. That's literally what it is. And see, with my next project, we're not necessarily talking about the highway per se, but we're not talking about the highway per se. However, we are talking about the land before time in their time, because history was being rewritten. It was two perspectives. It was our oral traditions that was passed down orally, and then it was their uh, written. They called them the Lebenslaufs and their records. And what we were doing was, instead of holding on to our oral traditions and preserving them, we started latching on to their history. So therefore, they really didn't know who we were. They didn't know what to call us, so they started labeling us as black people. And then they started labeling. That wasn't something that we said. We gonna have a general council and we're gonna call ourselves black and we're gonna sign it in the law on this date. You feel what I'm saying? You can't look none of that up. You can't look none of that up because it's not ours. So what we started doing was publishing books like with the concept of the 1619 Project. So we pretty much were consenting to our own downfall. You feel me? But for them, it's like they can profit off of that. You feel what I'm saying? So they're like, okay, bro, I got documented evidence of me at the library today. And they have a section on slavery. It's a island. I can't think of the name of it. But wow, it's interesting. And I was working on my book on the streets at one Mongolia in the savannah. I was at the savannah in Mongolia, virgin, working on my book. That's crazy today. And I was talking about, what we talking about now? The islands. But anyway, I actually caught a Uber from there to the library, and I walked all the way down Boundary Street today. I walked the full joint. So I was pretty much like, it's a section, like I'm piecing it all together, this section. And yeah, my book is a report. That's really what it is. It's a report. It's a lot of things. It's layered though. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's a report. It's a thesis. It's all of that. It's all that. It's all that in a bag of Lay's chips. Well, like, you know how in a chip bag, it's not a full bag because it's like it's like a lot of empty space in the bag. But this one filled all the way up. This one filled all the way up, like how you at the Mexican restaurant when they put it in a white paper bag type. That's the type of bag of chips we talking about. That's my book. It's right there. And so, me coming down here, I didn't know that was the mission. When I first came down here, I just came down here with a lot of ambition. I came down here with a lot of, when I did submit to the Virgin Mary, because that's what I had to do. That's what this is all about. I submitted to the Virgin Mary. She win, checkmate. Yeah. Postmate. Tag, you're it. Nah, so when I first submitted, I'm like, it was my birthright. So the first thing that happened for me was I literally I went down to I-26, which is my birthday, and crossed over to 95, which is my birth year. And again, that was the same year that Kobe, 2020, I turned 25. So that lets you know that I was born in 95. 2020 minus 25 minus 2020 it'll get you there to 95. So literally Kobe transitioned on my birthday. 2 months later, my son was born in the holy city. That's why we rock hard for it. That's why we rock hard for this shit. This is, it's literally my son was born in the holy city. And his son, his father, came from it's literally St. Matthew. I say St. Matthew. 21, verse 5. And originally we talking about Bethania. So today I'm at the College of Carapolis, right? And they got a whole section that was donated from Wachovia. It said from Wachovia, bro. I wish I would have got on camera the conversation that I had with the Uber driver. Because like right before that, she asked me where I was from. I was like, a place I call Wachovia. And then, mind you, I've been in this city for cumulatively 6 years. But this is my first time going in that library. And I go in there and I see the motherfucking section donated from my humble abode, Wachovia. That's legitimately where I'm from. It's a territory called Wachovia. It's a territory. And in that territory sits the city of Winston-Salem, which is a modern term it's a modern point of reference. They wasn't calling it that in 1776. It was called Salam, and it's actually written in the Second Continental Congress for the post roads. Actually, Bethania and Salam, and I believe Badabra is in there too, but definitely Bethania. You feel me? So on Main Street, and that is where our response agency is. What time is it? I need to know. It's probably about, I don't have my glasses on, but let's see. This is just, I'm a mental health advocate, and this is just me talking about fatherhood. I'm an author to, like, the pressures of the world, in this world, all of the stuff that happens is so much pressure on the father. Because I'm like, you trying to stay alive and stay free in this system that's like really want to cage you, and like it's, and it's hard for me to really find joy. And you, like, again, without the mother, the system that just want to cage you and criminal, like we are like Hillary Clinton said, the super predator in every sense. Like, we not that, but that's just how you viewed. And so, like, just to be viewed as that, and like, that you are the chosen one from a chosen people, that, but the way that you getting viewed from the outside is like that. So that right there creates the mental, like for me, where my mental health start. And then like with that counsel of Nasia, them taking the mother out, and then my mama not being here as my advocate, because like your mama, my mama, I can't talk about your mama, I'm saying my mama had that grit. She had that grit that she wasn't finna take no shit. You feel me? And nobody was about to walk over her son. So when I lost that, and that right there is what turned her son up. If your mama rocking for you like that, and she vouching for your ignorance, your mama vouching for your ignorance, you know what I'm saying? Like they say your mama your first lawyer. Your mama is your lawyer. Nobody else would be your lawyer other than your mama. Is she here? And in our Constitution, it say when she cannot, when your mama not there to represent you, your cousin got to. And she not going to charge you. Or he, if you know what I'm saying. They not going to charge you for that. They not going to charge you, but if you win, then, you know, naturally you're going to be like, here, cuz, go buy a house. But that's only for the brothers that lost their mamas, and for the sisters that lost their mamas, that got to go. You feel me? It got to be a senior cousin. In the Constitution, hold on. It's our Constitution. It's Carolina, so everybody that claim to be Carolinian, that's their shield. I mean, you know, again, it's due process. See, this 1669, I forget where it's at. I think it's somewhere about the 60s. Article 60, where it talk about that shit. It got a lot in here. It's a lot in here. This is the Constitution from 1670. Yeah. Hold on. Yo, okay, all right. This is Article 45 right here. I'm just going to read this joint. This is the Carolina Constitution, 1670, man. Who else has been bringing this to you? Like, I've been bringing this to you. That's why everything is timestamped. Everything timestamped. I've been bringing this to you since 2023. Every bit 2023 when I discovered it. Ever since I discovered it in 2022, right after my daughter was born. It was just the 38:22 second when I said that on cue. Right here it says the Chamberlain. Look at everything we just been talking about. Everything we've been talking about. So we just said I don't know if we caught that in 44. It said the Stewart Court got the power to enlarge the old highways. It says man's land upon any man's land whatsoever, as also to make cuts, channels, banks, locks, and bridges for making rivers navigable. Now, that's congruent to the Wealth of Nations, and I think part 3, where it talks about the extent of the commerce depends on how far the rivers can navigate and how far it can stretch by foot. That's how they was defining markets. But anyway, look, this is here. Look at this. The Chamberlain Court, consisting of a proprietor and 6 counselors called vice chamberlains, shall have the power or the care of ceremonies, presidency, heraldry, the receptions of public ministers, public messengers, pedigrees. The registry of all births go through the Chamberlain. Burials and marriages through the Chamberlain. Legitimation and all cases concerning matrimony. It's a matrimony or arising from it, and shall also have the power to regulate fashions, habits, badges, games, and sports. This court is also shall belong to the so we have sports, the convocate of the Grand Council. The 12 assistants belonging to this court shall be called provosts. So, wow, I'm about to go just by reading this, but so this literally, bro. So this video is a demonstration of the oral tradition being written in format. That's literally what my objective is. And so like John Locke, so they had on that video, they got a picture. It got a picture of John Locke. This man celebrated because what he did was literally put the oral tradition in Constitution format in 1670. And it's talking about subject matter jurisdiction amongst each Lord Proprietor wore different hats. So you got the Chamberlain, the Steward, wow, right here. So the Fifth Amendment come from right here. This predated. It says, no cause shall be tried in any one court. Oh, no cause shall be tried twice. 64. In any one court upon any reason or pretense whatsoever. Now, so that's proof that the Constitution came from here, which essentially, again, came from the oral tradition. John Locke is just noted for documenting it, but we don't even honor it. We're not even honoring how we can, if we not honoring this, we definitely not honoring the oral tradition. It says there shall be a parliament. There shall be a parliament consisting of proprietors, their deputies, landgraves, caciques, and one freeholder out of every precinct, to be chosen by the freeholders of the said precinct respectively. They shall sit together in one room and have every member one vote. All right. So it's talking about parliament here. It says, but since the natives of this place shall be concerned in our plantation, are utterly strangers to Christianity, whose idolatry, ignorance, or mistakes. So they got this from our oral traditions, but this is what they say. Look, but since the natives of that place who would be for that concern of our plantation are utterly strangers to Christianity, whose adultery, ignorance, or mistakes. Now, all of the ones that they saying is ignorant or strangers to Christianity are all Christians now. So all of our, just put that in, put that there, put a pin right there. Whose adultery, ignorance, or mistakes gives us no right to expel or use them ill, and those who remove from other parts to plant there will unavoidably be of different opinions concerning the matters of religion, the liberty whereof they will expect to have allowed them, and it will be reasonable for us on this account to keep them out, that civil peace may be maintained amidst the diversity of opinions, and our agreement and compact with all men may be duly and faithfully observed, the violation whereof, upon what pretense soever, cannot be without great offense to the Almighty God. It says that the great scandal to the true religion. Man, this is in the Constitution. You got true religion right there, bro. This is 97, which we profess, and also that Jews, heathens, and other dissenters from the purity of Christian religion may not be sacred and kept at a distance from it, but by having the opportunity of acquainting themselves with the truth. Bro, that's crazy. And reasonable of its doctrines, and the peaceableness and insolvency of its professors, made by good usage of the persuasion of all those convincing methods of gentleness and meekness suitable to the rules and designs of the gospel, be won over to embrace the unfringed receive the truth. Therefore, the 7 or more persons agreeing in any religion shall constitute a church. Oh my God, bro. That is crazy. I'm going to keep reading. To which they shall give some name to distinct. Man. Did that, done it, done. 7 word, 7. Okay, done. It's already done. That is crazy, bro. That's crazy. This is Carolina. Bro, I was on Carolinian Drive today. Man, that is crazy, bro. You see why it's so important to read? You see how, like, no matter how you feel. Now I'm looking for this German cousin. That's just crazy. I'm just reading this right in front of me. I'm looking for the German cousin. German cousin. Let's look it up. Let's do this. Told you I'm blind as a bat. All right. My fault, y'all. Okay. Okay, my fault. So that's crazy. That is crazy, bro. Like, to read that. What fact was that? Like 91 or some shit? I don't know. I just want. By the way, we going all the way back to the 1500s with this. Oh, my fault. This is not the 1500 one. This is the one that's going from 1578. That's right. My fault. Yeah, it is. My fault. I was looking at it backwards. My bad, dog. I'm about to cheat. So that was fact 90. That was Article 97 of the Carolina Constitution. It tells you that if you have 7 or more people under one shield, that constitutes as a church. Damn, man, that shit crazy. 7 or more people. My Lord. So, man. Lord, you are good and your mercy endures forever. So I'm going to just type in, and we can do this together. Go to Google and type in German cousin. And then you want to type in Carolina. This stuff not hard to find. Constitution. 1670. Let's see what comes up. It says the phrase German cousin, cousin German in context of the fundamental constitution refers to a first cousin. Modern terms, German meant sharing the same parents or grandparents. You feel me? Wow. Latin Germanists, mainly fully related, are brotherly rather than relating to the country of Germany. But for me, it checks off, and because my cousins is German, so it's like, now that's what we finna figure out. What article? So it's saying your first cousin. That's what I'm telling you is coming from. Is the oral tradition. Article 70. All right. Okay, let's look it up. Let's see. Article 70. Dang, that was right here, not far. It says based on... Hold on. Nuh-uh. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Bet. It shall be a base and vile thing to plead for money or reward. What'd I just say? What'd I say? I said they not gonna ask you for no money. Your cousins. So when all y'all people going to court, y'all go to, they're not your first cousins that you going to. You feel what I'm saying? When you go to these different motherfucking lawyers and shit, y'all be quick. Y'all be pro-black till it's time to get an attorney. This is what it say right here. It shall be a base and vile thing to plead for money or reward, nor shall anyone, except he be a kinsman, not farther off than a cousin german to the party concerned, be permitted to plead to another man's cause, till, or woman, you feel what I'm saying? I gotta say that they were writing from a patriarchal standpoint here. And again, this was a rule book for when they came here. We already had our oral tradition that we was living by, but this was a rule book for them. However, it's like how I'm naturally vocalizing this, and that's why I had to go and look for it, because it's literally saying what I said. But the point that I'm making is that the constitutions and stuff was written for the people who were coming over here, right? But now, because it's fundamentals that we lost, we're taking it back so that we can reestablish what we had been established for billions of years. That's been recorded in the clay tablets. You feel me? So it was already, this is just a cycle. That's why I'm here, bringing this information back to the forefront. Because none of my teachers, I have not heard nobody bring up this Carolina Constitution. Now, there is a webpage, carolina.com, but I don't know who's behind that webpage. And they have this Constitution on. They got a lot of good information. And it's Carolina with an A. It's Curl and Anna. Anna with one N. Curl and Anna. You put it together. .com. But that's it. That's the only, I don't know any other Carolinian or anybody speaking about this, bringing this to the forefront. And if they are out there, please, I would, for research purposes, would love to talk to them. For real, no cap. But it's just deep. Fact 70. It says, not further off than a cousin German. So that lets you know that I've been reading. I knew about it, but I'm living it too. You feel me? Shall be to the party concerned, be permitted to plead for another man's cause before the judge in an open court. He has taken an oath that he does not plead for money or reward, nor will they receive, nor directly or indirectly bargain with the party, whose cause he is going to plead for money or any other reward for the pleading of the cause. So in other words, it's like how when you call these attorneys and they first of all, they violating this, you feel me? But they're like, yeah, we can go get your case expunged for $200, for $20,000. That's unlawful according to this. You feel me? Number one, they gotta be your cut. They have to be your cut. So therefore, all your cousins, anybody that is a cousin or should be studying law. That's just what it is right here. That's just really what it is. Man, that's crazy. Damn, man. Man, I got everything. Wow. So this is really telling you how to take your sovereignty back, because this was a sovereign nation. And I recently had a altercation with the police, and they were trying to call me a sovereign citizen, and I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. What is a sovereign citizen? I don't know what a sovereign citizen is. I don't. But at the same time, I get it. We not professing the law. We're not professing the law to them, our law. And so therefore, again, like I said, history was being rewritten. And the proof is, somebody can prove me wrong. You feel what I'm saying? What's the counter to this? Bring a counter to this. You feel me? So because we were, annihilated of our wealth and robbed of our true history, now that we've, a lot of our people are coming into this knowledge and are starting to step up and defend themselves in court, and when they get stopped and things like that, and start bringing up codes and enforcing the Constitution and things like that. So when you hold them accountable to their public oath, then they combat you with, they're being a sovereign citizen. You feel me? Because like I said, we are already being criminalized. And that, again, it violates. So the religious amendment of the Constitution, it comes directly from there. Article 97. Again, you can look up this Constitution online. I had to get the physical, and I discovered this same, manuscript at my alma mater, in the House of the Rams. So again, I grew up at the intersection of Sally's and Ramilly Run. Feel me? So that's in my alma mater, we call each other Ramley. So that's literally the street that I grew up, Ramilly and Sally's at that conversion. So that's giving honor to my big mamas who paved the way for my mama, who was the Ram. And I'm the son of the Ram. That's what, when you saying Ibn Darrel, that's what you say. It's saying a lot of things. It's saying the son of the house, the son of the son of the Ram, the son of my mama, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I started to, I be talking in riddles to people sometimes, like people that be trying to deliberately figure me out. I be talking in riddles to them to throw them off. Like again, like today, it was a guy that picked me up in the Uber, and he was like, "You just getting off work?" I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Am I just getting off work, nigga? Like, bro, I could be anybody, bro. I could be a Saudi prince here for the first time, and I need you to take me to where I need to go. You feel what I'm saying? And I ain't even pay for it. I don't even have no concept of what I'm doing. But at the same time, they called my name, and I pulled right up. You feel me? Like, come on, bro. What are you talking about? What is a job? What a job? What is work? What's work? And how, because, okay, shit don't stop working. So if I'm off work, that mean the motherfucking planet off work. That mean the sun off work. The sun don't take off work. But anyway, I started to ask him, I'm like, if my name is Ibn Darrel and my mama name was Darrel, what that make me? Like, that's the riddle.